So today we're going to be talking about closing costs and the fees that are associated with buying a house. I've talked about this before in another video, but the question came up again. So I said, why not make a whole video just about this, kind of get it out there and get all the information out there. So I have a couple people that are in the market of buying a house, and they're going to be using their tax refund for their down payment. Brilliant. But you guys have to understand the down payment is not all you're going to be paying. So you need to know kind of like, what your closing costs are, how much they are, what is it based on, what are they called, when do you pay them, all that kind of stuff. So welcome to my YouTube channel, Dream Home in Arizona. My name is Kamya Newcombs. This month, 22 years in real estate. So yay, happy anniversary to me. But we're going to be going over a couple important things, especially this time of year. So you're looking at buying a house and you want to put that down payment in, absolutely. And of course, how much should you be putting down? What are your closing costs? Let's go over those in just a few minutes. So when you're in the market of buying a house, it's really good to plan out what it's going to take to get into that house. What are your closing costs? So you don't want to be blindsided for sure, because some of the closing costs can be pretty expensive. Now, it's not over dramatic, but there are some fees that are involved that you have to pay before you own the property. So we're going to be going over those. But first, what are closing costs? Let's kind of get that little definition out of the way. Closing costs are fees that you must pay before you can become the legal owner of the property, i.e. the single family residence, condo, townhouse, anything. So those are the fees that you must pay. And I do have a list of those fees, so we're going to be going over those as well. And we're also going to be going over approximately how much those fees are. So you have better education out there when you're looking to buy a house and you're saving up for that down payment. And of course, if you watched a couple of my last videos, you don't need 20% down anymore. You can do 3.5. It's going to depend on, of course, your FICO score, the type of loan that you get, but you can get a 3.5% down conventional loan. They are out there. So if you want to talk to a lender and you don't know any, give me a call. I can definitely put you in contact with some great lenders out there today. But first, let's go over some closing costs. So according to Freddie Mac, here's a couple of fees that you'd be paying at closing when you purchase your property, i.e. single family, condo, townhome, all of the above. So you got your government recording fees, appraisal fees, credit reporting fees, lender origination fees, title service, tax service, survey, attorney. If you're in a state that uses attorneys, we don't use them here in Arizona unless you absolutely just have to have one. Go for it. But underwriting, there's quite a lot of fees. They do add up, but here's how you quickly calculate. And of course, the best way to calculate is to give me a call, and we can do this very specifically per house. I can do an estimated cost sheet so you have an idea of what your down payment plus your closing costs are going to be costing you. So because these don't even include your out-of-pocket expenses before you get to the closing table, like inspection fees, termite inspection fees, that kind of thing. So you want to make sure that you have enough money saved up, and we can go over in detail, line by line, what those closing costs are, how much they are, and what you can kind of plan for. But so how much do you need for that closing cost? So I kind of did this just so you can understand. So if you're looking at a home around $350,000, $370,000, so let's just try $366,000, $900,000. Your closing costs are based on a percentage. So the higher the price for the home, the higher your closing cost fee. And of course, the lower price, lower fees, so on and so forth. But based on that, you're going to be looking at between 2 to 5% of the purchase price. So it could be anywhere between like $7,500 to $18,000, depending on the price of the house, your loan type, and everything that's involved. I know the appraisal and inspection fees, a lot of times those aren't even based on necessarily the loan amount, but the size of the home. So a larger home by square footage is going to increase like your appraisal and your inspection fee. So keeping that in mind, get with me ahead of time and we can go over these fees to make sure that you have enough saved, because the last thing you want to do is get to that closing table and realize you don't have enough money to close. You have your down payment, you have most of your closing costs, but you just can't get enough. Now you can have funds gifted. That's a whole different issue. And if you need to go that route, definitely give me a call first, because there's some things that we would need to do in order for your lender to say that that's okay. So there's just a couple things that you would need to do. According to Freddie Mac, a little bit of advice that they put out there, I think it's on their website. The best thing that you can do is be informed of these closing costs. So talk to someone like me, your real estate professional. I can put you in contact with a lender, and then we can work out for this house, this is your estimated what your closing costs with your down payment is going to be. So you can be better informed and you can have enough money saved up, or we can go to that route. And I do believe I have even a video on that, where a seller could pay your closing costs or a portion of your closing costs if you're purchasing. Now that's going to depend on the market. That's going to depend on the house. That's going to depend on the seller if they're willing to do that. So there's a lot of factors that go into that, but that is another avenue that we can look at. That's not something that's for everybody. It's not something that's for every house or seller, because you have to keep in mind, a seller's not going to take less money in their pocket for their proceeds and their equity just because you need $7,000 to close. So we kind of have to work out it in the contract so it all makes sense for the buyer and the seller, and it's a win-win for everybody. So bottom line, it's a good idea to look in advance, get the information ahead of time. You know what your spending level will be. You know what you need to pay for the house, and now you need to know what your closing costs will be. So get with your professional and have me look that up for you, get that estimate done, so you're not surprised when you get to the closing table. The last thing we want is any surprises out there. But if you have a question for any future videos that you want answered, definitely leave a comment after this video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will definitely be seeing you guys later. Also, if you're paying for a place to live, you're buying a house. You're either buying one for yourself or you're buying one for your landlord.